Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to talk about a couple of things. Firstly, just a couple of informational things. Due to the fact that so many people are currently stuck at home, there's been some changes from Games Workshop as announced on the community site, and some of them are really quite good. The first being that Warhammer on Twitch is now free. They've opened up all of their past broadcasts on their Twitch channel so that you don't need to be a sub to watch them. There is hundreds of hours of content on there, from like Hangout and Paints and battle reports and you name it. There is so much stuff that is now available to watch. I genuinely think it's one of the nicest things they could have done in this particular situation. For those of you who are stuck at home or working from home, I say those of you like I'm not included. I am currently, my family is in self-isolation because my daughter is ill with all the symptoms of the virus. So I'm including myself in that, actually. For those of us stuck at home, there is now a ton of stuff to watch, and a lot of I'd say most of the content that they put out on that Twitch channel is really good. They've increased the number of like Hangout and Paints that they do. It's a really nice move. On top of that, they've also announced something today where you can get a full audiobook for 99p. So I'll put a link to that article in the description so you can properly read through it. But again, it's like a sale thing so that you can just get full unabridged audio versions of Black Library books, and they've massively reduced the price of it. So hopefully that will again give people a nice source of entertainment. So that's some of the informational stuff. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about, along with a little bit of brief speculation about what we might see from the reveals on the 28th and the 4th, is this. So, event exclusive models for everyone. So as I've said, right now, staying home is the heroic thing to do, but for many of you, it's meant missing out on attending great events and the chance to grab exclusive miniatures. Of course, that is true, but also most of the events are now cancelled anyway, so it's not so much a choice of staying at home, it's more there's nothing to go out to. Same difference, but it's fine. As I say, we didn't want that, so we're giving you all the chance to get your hands on a number of event exclusives, starting with Lieutenant Amulius, whatever, who was due to be making his last appearance at Adepticon 2020. So I'd imagine when he shows up, this will be your last chance to get this dude. As they say, keep an eye out for news on exactly how you'll be able to grab him and others in the coming weeks. So, as they've pointed out, kind of difficult to do event-exclusive miniatures if there's no events. And currently, there are no events. Everything's being cancelled left, right and centre due to the global issue that we are currently facing. Which makes all of that kind of tricky. Now, I have no idea what form this is going to take, to be honest. In terms of these event-exclusive miniatures being available just to order, I am going to go ahead and assume that for a start, they'll be exclusive to the store. So instead of being able to go to a third-party retailer, you will have to get them from the Games Workshop store. That's something I am assuming will be the case. I'll be very surprised if it's not. The other thing is that it's very difficult to know exactly how this is going to work, because I think they will want to keep the exclusive nature of these things. So what I think is going to happen, and I'd be very happy to be wrong, I would prefer to be wrong, is that what we'll see is limited availability for these things. So it's simulating the scarcity that you would get from them being event exclusive. So, people can only pick them up if they go to those events. Well, the events aren't happening. So what do you do if you want them to still be exclusive, but still want people to be able to get them? You make them limited availability. Whether it's limited stock, whether it's a timer, as in you've got a day to pick this up and then you can't pick it up anymore. I'm not sure what form that will take, but I would be very, very surprised if we just see them on general release for the entire time. I think they will try and keep them as being semi-exclusive models. That's why they were designed, and that's one of the reasons they sell as well as they do. I think that's what they will continue to do. However, you'll be buying them from Games Workshop's online store as opposed to buying them from the events themselves. I've seen a few people speculate and get excited about the idea that, hey, we can just pick up as many of these as we want. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to be limited in their availability, and it's going to be a case of you need to grab one quick, because otherwise you're not going to get your hands on one. Now, that will probably lead to the normal thing that happens with this stuff anyway, which is eBay nonsense. Unfortunately, that is just the nature when it comes to limited availability stuff, when it comes to exclusive items. It happens every single time. I really don't know what you can even do to prevent it other than make it so that they're not limited availability. But then, of course, part of the drive of doing that is that they sell out real quick. Games Workshop makes money real quick. What happens to them afterwards? There will be people there who are not happy about the scalping that goes on, but overall, I don't think those people being unhappy is going to change the decisions from higher up, let's put it that way. I feel like the people who design these miniatures and all of this are not going to be chuffed about the fact that people buy them and then sell them on for loads more. They want people to enjoy their work and have access to it, for the most part, I would assume, anyway. But unfortunately, it tends to happen quite frequently. We see it with all the collector's edition books, and we see it with the event-exclusive miniatures that they appear on eBay for vastly inflated prices. I don't think that's going to change this time round, unfortunately. I would say that I'm being pessimistic in saying that, but I don't think I am. I think in this situation, I'm just being realistic. But there are other, more fun things to think about than the idea of things like scalping going on, and that is the reveals that are on the way. So, of course, we were going to get some massive reveals from Adepticon, and we are no longer going to get that. Adepticon is cancelled, so it can't come from there. So instead, they are doing the Warhammer preview online, which essentially is going to be the same thing. I'd imagine it's going to be the same announcements, but it'll be done via the Warhammer community site and via Twitch. So as they say here, so to keep an eye out for it, this is on the 28th of March, so that'll be Saturday, 5 days from now. This will be coming at you from two fronts. First on Twitch, live with guests in our studio, and then soon after, in a live blog right here on warhammercommunity.com. So the live show on Twitch kicks off at 1:45 PM UK time on the 28th, so be sure to tune in. So, I mean, it's going to be 1:45 and then 2 o'clock for the live blog. So pretty much the same situation. If you are looking as to when you're going to see it in your time zone, I'll leave that up there quickly. And of course, there'll be a link in the description so you can take a look there too, just so you know what you're getting up for. If you're going to have to get up early for it, yeah, Australia, you're going to have to be getting up pretty early, or just staying up late. That's either way, either's fine. The question is, what is it going to be? What are we actually going to get from this? There's been quite a few suggestions, quite a few ideas. I did a test stream earlier today on YouTube, and a few people asked the question as to what do you think we'll see. Maybe 9th, the announcement of 9th edition would be something big enough to do at Adepticon. They have said that they said it was going to be the biggest Adepticon ever for reveals, but it's difficult to know whether that's big in terms of big news, or as someone pointed out, it could be big models. Things like the release of a new faction would be pretty big, so say if something like Traitor Guard were going to be announced, or Dark Mechanicus were announced, those would be pretty massive announcements. Things like new Chaos Knights, and I wouldn't say no to more Chaos Knights, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've built one, I'm building another one, I converted my other Imperial Knight to Chaos. I wouldn't mind having more options in terms of that stuff, like a bigger kit with more weapons options would be nice. Actual proper Chaos versions of like the Castellan and the Armages would be fun too, but whether we would get that, I have no idea. I've heard no rumblings about it. Maybe something like a new Necron model, for instance, a massive version of Illuminor Zeraz, which we do know has been a rumour for. It's actually very difficult to tell. I mean, the fact that it's been so heavily pushed as being like the biggest preview ever, the biggest thing they've done for Adepticon, really does leave it open to interpretation. And of course, there's the fact that sometimes what Games Workshop thinks is big is not necessarily what the fan base thinks is big. There can be a little bit of a disparity there between the two. Sometimes, not. I will say, I don't think it happens all the time. It's just occasionally. And sometimes I think there's an idea of actually genuinely big releases being not what people expected, and therefore not as much as they wanted. Like things like Orktober. I mean, that was quite a lot of new kits that Orcs got, but it wasn't the kits that people thought they needed necessarily. And so what was actually a fairly sizable release turned out to be not really what the community was fully after. Whether that'll be the case this time, I don't know. I would hope that whatever it is sufficiently mind-blowing. But it is just so very hard to tell. I mean, they say new models, games and stuff you never even knew you wanted. Stuff you never even knew you wanted could count all sorts of things in its ranks. I mean, if there was like a brand new army for something, then that would be awesome. But strange additions to existing armies, I mean, that could even be tongue-in-cheek reference to something that they know everyone wants. It's very, very difficult to tell. I'm actually quite excited for it, honestly. I was looking forward to Adepticon. I was looking forward to the announcements and the reveals that we were going to get. It is really difficult to know what we'll actually see. There's all sorts of stuff floating around, but nothing that really has been massively credible so far. If there was, I would have passed it on to you guys. I think more than anything, it's just going to be nice to have something to not maybe to celebrate isn't the right word, but there's a lot happening at the moment, and no matter what actually comes out of the announcements that we're going to get, it's going to be something else to talk about, something else to think about. Even if it's something that you don't like, at least you're going to get some mileage out of being irritated by it, as opposed to being irritated by everything else that's going on. So regardless of what it is, I am actually really looking forward to it. There are personal things, like personal preferences that I would like. Like, I have to admit, I do like the idea of more Chaos Knights, but then again, I would love to see more stuff for Xenos as a whole. I would prefer that over another Chaos Knight, to be honest, and I love Chaos Knights. So, difficult to tell, but definitely something to look forward to. Anyway, let me know what you think they might announce over the weekend. Any crazy theories, any intuition-driven ideas. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, as always. There's the affiliate link in the description down below for Element Games. If you click it, you save money. I get something for sending you that way. You get to support the channel in a nice, easy way, because you're going to buy stuff anyway. And yeah, it's an option if you would like to take it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you for the next one.